Today I'm driving a 1999 Lexus LX470. Essentially it's a Landcruiser, a little bit dolled up, not much, especially this generation. The early 100 series Landcruisers, really the only difference is the adjustable suspension in the front end. There's a couple little things, but the two main differences, the quad headlights and the adjustable suspension, the AHC, the adjustable height control, which a lot of people are bothered with, but I love. My last 200 series trucks have been LXs for that reason. I'm really into the suspension. It's got a great ride and I love the adjustability. It deters a lot of people from buying the LX for some reason. I don't think it should deter anyone. If the system ever fails, you can always replace it with an old man Emu or whatever suspension you prefer. This is a 99 again, so it is the 4-speed transmission. It's a 4.7 liter. It's got 230 horsepower. They upgraded the 100 series a couple of times, specifically in 2003 when they redid the interior, and they gave it the 5-speed transmission versus the 4-speed transmission. And then a little bit later on in the life cycle, it got a little bit more horsepower with the VVTi. And I really prefer the older generation trucks. I like the 5-speed transmission. I do not like the built-in navigation. The 03 Plus Landcruiser LXs have a built-in Nav Screen that has the HVAC and everything built in, and it really bothers me because at this point it's useless and nobody's really figured out how to change it yet. I've owned an 80 and a 100 simultaneously for about a decade, and as much as I love the 80 series Landcruiser, because I personally think that it's the best looking wagon they ever made, I like it better than the 60, the 62. The 100 series are the best value. They are at the bottom of their depreciation curve. I see them all over Craigslist for $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. You know, for 200,000 mile units, which on these is really nothing. But they're starting to become a little bit less expensive than a similar 80 series. 80 series are on the way up, and again, 100 series are at the very bottom of the depreciation curve, and they really are a better truck. So for 6, 7, 8 grand, you can get a 200,000 mile rig. You go down to 100,000 miles, you're paying a little bit more depending on the year. They're all awesome, and they're an awesome value because the 200 series Landcruisers are really expensive. So in 08, which is the first year of the 200 series when they redesigned this one, 150,000 mile truck is still close to 30 grand. So I bought this one for 10,000, had 110,000 miles on it. I don't think there's a better truck, period, not even just Landcruiser, for 10 grand out there. Aside from the fact that they get horrible gas mileage, you really gotta kind of weigh the variables, because yeah, they get 13 miles a gallon, and don't let anybody fool you into thinking that it's any better. It's 13 miles a gallon, right? It's like 10 in the city, 15 on the highway, right? So let's not even go there. But 13 miles a gallon, although they don't really depreciate. So when you're buying them, like this particular year, the 98s, 99s, the 2000s are kind of in the 8, 9, 10 grand range. They depreciate very slowly. As a matter of fact, the last 2 rigs I had, I sold for a little bit more than I paid for them. It's kind of like being in a cult, the whole Landcruiser thing, right? I've converted a couple of people like over to the cult. Like they'd be like, Joe, why do you love these trucks so much? Like, why do you always drive these big, heavy pigs? You know what I mean? They get 10 miles a gallon, and they really don't understand, you know, until you drive one. Like, they're made to run in third world countries on shit gas. So until you kind of experience that build quality, and the crazy thing is, like, I'll go look at them right on Craigslist or whatever. I'm always kind of buying and selling Landcruisers. Just, you can go drive a 100 series or an 80 with 250,000 miles that's been completely neglected, and it is amazing how they drive. I mean, it's unbelievable how solid they are and just how new they feel, right? I mean, they could look like total shit, have rust, leather could be ripped up, but like, man, they drive amazing. And when they redesigned these, went to the 200 series, they're awesome vehicles. I'd love to have a 200 series, and I would take a 200 series over a 100 series, but overall value and overall just you gotta consider the money. 30 grand for a 200 series for me is not worth it. And that's about the cheapest 200 series you're gonna get right now. With the 100 series, yeah, they're a lot older, right? You're getting a 98, 99 for 10 grand, but you can get a really nice one for 17, 18, maybe an 05, 06, and you know, still half as much money as a 200 series truck. But the 100 series design overall is, it's gaining traction, right? Like, I think if you polled 10 people, 9 out of 10 would say the 80 was nicer than the 100, right? Looked better, meaner, the big flares and all that. But the 100 series truck is coming into its own. Like, they're aging really well. They look really cool now, you know? The simplicity of the design is really starting to come through, right? And when you look at, like, say the Middle Eastern 100 series trucks with the steel wheels and the graphics and all, they look super cool, man. Like, just really they're actually starting to look kind of old school. And I think that's when they're gonna start coming up in price, right? Just like the 80 series did. 80 series bottomed out, man. You could get them for like 3-4 grand. And now a good 80 series is like $10,000. The last LX470 I had, I sold for a lot of money. It had low miles, but man, I sold it for a lot more than I paid for this truck right here. And the 100 series is coming into its own. So in 5 and 10 years, I think the design is aging really well. When people look at these and they start Googling like lift kits and stuff, and they see them lifted up and armored, they look awesome. But right now, the best value is the 100 series Landcruiser. Check I Hate Mud. Check their classifieds, check Craigslist, and check Expedition Portal. That's a good resource too. Go to the Landcruiser section. A lot of cool stuff there.